and then it's just that.
Does that help you at all?
I think more than one makes it worse, but yeah. Yeah. Was that you can't really say. Although realistically, that's such an old, outdated thing now. You don't even really need that.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's just synchronizing with like recorded audio from a mic of that or something, and then this, because those are probably doing audio, or that is, or something is. So you just hit sync on Premiere, and then everything just go, or on Descript probably.
What a world we live in.
Yep. It just analyzes all the peaks and lines them up.
Huh.
Well, yeah. Welcome back.
I guess that is kind of it's a cold open in and of its own. It's like, hey, these guys are talking an awful lot about video camera stuff and synchronizing and clapping. I wonder what that would mean about anything. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for a new season, a new episode, a new lifetime of just fun and excitement. And, well, more than anything, you're probably not used to actually seeing us for once. If you are, well, I know YouTube is obviously going to support video. You mentioned that Spotify might as well. I have no idea how you might be able to watch us, but
not from a car. Don't watch it from a car.
Don't watch it in a car. You know what? I don't really care. You're a grown person. If you can multitask. But if you hit somebody, it is not my fault.
I mean, they might as well have TVs in cars now. How big the monitors are.
And how much you rely on the touchscreen anyways. At this point, what's it matter? Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, the speedometer in modern cars are video screens.
Yeah.
I don't. It's... However, you're taking advantage of listening to us for your aural pleasure. I guess now you can get the visual satisfaction as well. We're excited to have you. I'm really excited for this season of the podcast because, well, not just because we're debuting some videos. So a couple things. We're playing through how exactly we're going to be rolling this out and implementing it. It's designed so that we can do this as quickly as possible with as little editing so that we can get things out to you. So we'll be playing around with format a little bit in terms of the normal podcast. But I think this is just something that people do now. We like seeing people. Like video is the way.
Yeah, I'm surprised the term has lasted this long when the etymology of podcast is so different.
Most places are doing video, and that's kind of something that's crept up on me. But, we've always tried to just be, informative and everything. But something last year was just changing in how I was viewing the podcast, and man, I think you remember we started doing this during COVID.
Yeah.
To figure out what the heck are we doing, and what the heck are you doing? We really wanted to try to empower people to understand what was going on in our world, in technology and what have you, and encourage you that it wasn't all super bleak. Then cybersecurity news became kind of a thing, and it all got super bleak.
Yeah.
Then AI became a thing, and it spiked to be partially cool, and now has become kind of bleak. And I feel like when we would do our podcast, you and I, we would get together, and it would just be these oppressive, like, man, there's some really cool stuff happening, but it's almost always, here's who screwed up in cybersecurity. Here's how AI is making life weird,
mm-hmm.
and then maybe some fun anecdotes from there. And at the end of the day, you and I wanted so much more for it than it just to become repetitive and predictive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always say, Griff's, your talents are very much interactive media style, and I've always wanted to try to challenge you and push you, and realistically, I think sometimes it's fun when it's not stressful. So we're trying to balance this out with video. Believe it or not, he does have actually a full-time job that doesn't involve video production here for Lighthouse. be cool maybe someday. Like we've got somebody who can, you and I just sit down, chat, and then some other sucker does it for us. That day is not today. So, work with us a little bit. I hope you do end up enjoying this new format. But we're also going to be looking for feedback from you in how we can apply this. But the biggest change that you're going to see in the podcast is we've decided that news as a whole is just not really what we are going to get excited about. We want you to be excited about technology, where things are going, and where your business could be going. And so that is a massive pivot for us. And so this podcast, as part of all of our other sort of media efforts, are combining together. So if you watched any of our Lighthouse Labs videos and things like
State of Lighthouse,
this podcast is going to sort of become part of the home for all of those. So labs will become more important to our content rotation. Another thing that's going to be really great is things like today. We're going to talk a little bit about something practical that you may want to know about for your business. And it's not going to be, we're going to be hammering on 5 or 6 or 12 different stories. Our job is to really focus in on topics, singular topics, that are important to you today, right now, and possibly even the future.
And I'd say this topic will have quite a few different sections. So
it's
still might move around a bit, but
the other thing that we really want to do is I have for several years wanted to be able to have more guests involved. And it's really easy to have Lighthouse team members be a part of it. And I really enjoyed those conversations. But there's been other people that I come across who I just adore. And so we want to be able to have guests involved and share things that is going on. Maybe steps that they took to get to where they're going. Or unique positions that their businesses have. And the idea is that I just want to unfold some of the brilliant minds that Lighthouse comes across with our clients and our friends of clients. So right off the bat, if you know somebody and you know how to get a hold of me, I would definitely email me, reach out to me. We'll also be having another segment called Ask Lighthouse, which will be highly topical in terms of you can write in for anything. If it's a bigger deal, we'll make a full episode out of it. But if not, we know that these smaller topics, hey, let's combine those together and let's talk to those a little bit. So what are you going to see different? Here's the summary. The podcast is now video, and we're excited for that. That'll give us a lot more engagement, we hope, with you. But it's also, the podcast is going to become simpler. And what that means is that it's no longer going to force news. We're going to talk about things that excite us, things that should hopefully excite you, or things that you should have on your radar, things that are important to know, as well as interviews with some amazing people. And so expect way more information as we go through. But with all of that, I'm excited to pretty much kick off this new season. And, well, I said it's because we got tired of talking about doom and gloom. And now I'm scratching my head because
technically
I backed myself into a corner,
yeah,
which is today's topic, which is, why is my crap so expensive?
Yeah. Why is all computer parts and everything computer related expensive?
I think I told you, it's not like we make a ton of money off of hardware we sell. I hope people don't know that, like, it's effectively beer money kind of thing. Like, it helps us, the profits from that kind of help us go back into buying our own equipment, right? Like, that's largely what we try to do. Our services are largely focused on the operations of the business. Our hardware sales are how we invest in our own assets.
Well, we also largely want clients to upgrade their machines because there's less issues, less things like that. So why have a bigger margin on that anyway?
Yeah, exactly. So we do try our best to keep margins reasonable. But you're going to start to notice that computer prices.
Yeah.
We've been quoting desktops, and desktops in our normal sector where they fit our minimum requirements are super expensive, to the point where we may have to think about reducing the amount of RAM, which I hate doing.
Yeah.
Or reducing what little margin we have just to help. And the reality is there's not much there, so it's not going to help that much. But like I was quoting a server today, and because of how RAM prices are, is just one of the components we'll talk about.
Yeah. It's the one I feel like is getting the most attention.
The cost for memory alone for this one server, our cost was incrementally several $1,000s increase.
Yeah. It's the one that has had the biggest increase percent-wise. Like, RAM was notorious for being admittedly kind of cheap, even, a year ago, I guess. But yeah, now it's gotten ludicrous.
And it's not just memory.
No,
right?
it's every part. It's just memory's the one that's been probably the most affected.
Where we're seeing the biggest growth in cost, memory, GPUs, and solid state disks.
Yeah, SSDs.
Right? Flash memory. Everything is rising, but these items rose the highest and quickly, and there's no end. I don't think there's. We're at the beginning of this. We're not at the end.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day about because they were trying to upgrade their computer, and they're like, "Should I just wait?" And I said, "Buy now." Unfortunately, because I think it's actually going to be worse in 6 months. It might be better in 2 years, but you're probably not going to wait 2 years. So, and it might not even be better in 2 years.
It might not. Yeah. Do you need this much memory? You may just have to suck it up.
Yeah. This isn't like the GPU, shortages or whatever of 2 years ago where things kind of stabled out because people weren't crypto mining as much or whatever. Now this is a little bit more intense because these are going into, AI data centers. The actual creators of these, RAM chips are changing what they're doing. They're moving to creating chips that make more sense for those data centers.
Well, what are you going to do as a business?
Yeah.
Right? You could make memory for a printer. Just like for instance, right? Because everything is going to take memory. You could make memory for a printer or a home computer, okay? In which you have a negotiated rate, and let's say that negotiated rate is $50. Now, AI requirements for memory are very specific because it's very performant.
Yeah.
Right? One of the reasons you do the $50 memory is because you're going to sell thousands upon thousands of units. But we're right now in this AI boom, right? How many data centers that leverage AI are being used right now and are being built and constructed? And so what happens? So let's say that it's $80 to sell a RAM module to a data center. Well, you're going to get way more volume because they're going to say, we want to buy 100,000 chips.
Yep.
But then on top of that, it's not just the memory for the AI data centers themselves, because the AI data centers also need GPUs.
Yeah.
And the GPUs need performant RAM as well. I had read somewhere that, for compatibility, one of the things NVIDIA used to do, and this is why NVIDIA costs, the vendor prices used to be very similar. When NVIDIA would sell a company, say like a PNY, a graphics card. Does PNY still make graphics cards? This is how old I am.
Does PNY exist still? I know like EVGA and stuff died out, so like I know PNY's still a thing. Okay. Yeah. I thought that would be an EVGA situation.
Like an Asus or somebody, right? So they would buy the NVIDIA chipset as part of the purchase price. It would include the memory. Well, because memory is so volatile in its pricing, NVIDIA stopped saying we're selling the chip. We're selling the memory with the chip.
Just make a volatile joke.
I did.
For the nerds out there.
And it went past me.
Oh, there you go.
So here's what we have. We need memory for the video cards, the GPUs, to offload the AI resources. We also still need plenty of memory for these data centers to run. And it's all super high performant on both sides, expensive memory, in which there's hundreds upon thousands of units that need to be purchased.
Yeah.
And if you're making memory, you're going to move all of your chickens into the AI basket temporarily.
Well, it just makes sense. Financially, business-wise. Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that Micron is getting out of making memory directly. I think they own Crucial.
Oh, yeah.
And so Crucial memory is pretty much not going to exist, at least temporarily.
Like consumer grade only or both?
Because it's consumer grade memory.
Yeah.
They make chips.
Yeah.
So Micron, part of the reason Crucial used to be cheap is because Micron makes the chips, and then they would build them in-house through the Crucial brand. Well, now it's like, well, why do that when we can sell them and make more money? Even used computers. I was reading refurbishers have said that they have a hard time because what's happening is people are getting these computers. They're selling the memory for the price they would normally get for the whole machine. And so refurbishers are getting these computers that have no memory or hard drives in them because the recovery company made more money parting those out first and then just selling the chassis out for like $30. And that sucks. But it's like, yeah, but then I have to buy RAM for it.
Yeah,
and if I buy used memory, I'm paying what I used to pay just for so I'm paying 30% more.
Wow.
So we have it. We can blame AI for this. This is a big one. There's also just some normal supply constraints as part of our manufacturing process that we're trying to keep up with demand. They're trying to bring more things online, but realistically, you're going to go to where the money is.
Yeah.
And just in general, semiconductor boom and bust dynamics is at play here. It's cyclical, just like everything.
Yeah. I think also there's a little bit of Windows 11 causation here, but
I think that's
hard to prove realistically.
I don't think you're off on it. I don't think it helps.
Yeah.
We just come off of Windows 10 sunsetting. It's end of life now. Here you have Windows 11, so now that's driving up costs. That's driving up demand for regular computers.
Just adds to it. Perfect storm.
It's a perfect storm.
Yep.
So we've got memory, right? Memory RAM modules. We've got tons of capacity. You have DDR5. It's becoming mainstream.
I mean, DDR4 prices are still pretty high now too, because people are trying
because that's the alternative.
Go
right?
back on,
Yeah. We talked about memory for data centers, the high bandwidth memory. That's in high demand, so why would you make that price? GPUs, the enterprise grade GPUs that they use in AI data centers. Well, that's how we train and do our inference is through GPUs. It's not crypto mining anymore. It's AI inferencing that GPUs really leverage. And then, while I would say, by and large, on the workstation side, graphics card availability has stabilized. The costs are out of control.
And I think NVIDIA is set to release a new line.
Well, I think, what is it, the 5090 right now that's out, that's just supposed to be the rock star of consumer graphics. Yeah. Isn't that like a $2,000 graphics card?
Yeah.
Can I just say, like, I haven't built a computer in forever. I actually mostly just use mobile devices anymore. Sorry, world. I became a boring old man at some point. My friends made fun of me because I had a Radeon card that was kind of the equivalent of, say, a 5090. Made fun of me because that sucker was $500. You cannot buy a mainstream graphics card for $500. Isn't that ARC B450 or whatever? Or
the Intel ARC?
That's supposed to actually be a very reasonable graphics card.
I mean, there's some all right AMD ones, but yeah, again, you're trading off significant, power performance constraints there. So,
and you're still in the $400 range.
Yeah, I've also still never seen an Intel ARC in the wild. I don't know who's
Well,
using
I've
those.
only ever seen people use them for Linux. People like them because
Yeah.
there's a Intel has finally really adapted the integration there. So, what about? All right, so we've got memory, we've got solid state disks,
Yeah, storage.
flash memory.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, one, NAND is in and of itself is a cyclical industry. People seem to rise and fall on the necessary needs for storage. But what we're actually also seeing is we've been in a period of oversupply. That's why hard drives were so cheap for so long, is because people weren't buying them. There's so many on the market that manufacturers have slowly slowed down production to almost nothing.
Yeah.
And are trying to get that depleted. Well, guess what? Demand is increasing. And so now we're seeing the storage prices start to come back up because, well, they haven't started producing more. And during this time they've been doing R&D. I think we're going to be seeing some new changes in storage. You're going to get heavier, like higher layer NAND chips, so you'll be able to get more improved and more efficient storage. But those lines don't exist yet.
Yeah.
They'll throw some old ones on the line, I'm sure. This one is probably going to be one that's not going to last as long as the others.
No, that's kind of why RAM has gotten so much more spotlight and news and such, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think this means for our customers?
Well, I mean, there's financial guidance and then there's tech guidance. So,
And this is, warning, this is not a financial podcast.
Yeah,
we don't know anything about anything when it comes to that. Did you just hear about that comment I made about buying a $500 graphics card in 2000?
I think it's smart to get your upgrades in as soon as possible, though.
I think we're on the beginning of this.
Yeah,
This is
that's it.
I've got good news. I've got bad news. I've got good news in that we aren't really seeing anybody say no, that they don't have things.
Yeah, that could change in a month. That could change in 6 months. We
But
don't
the
know.
bad news is we've already seen them do cost adjustments.
Yeah,
Significantly. A lot of our vendors have already told us that they no longer will honor quotes beyond 14 days.
yeah,
So, like, if we need to purchase inventory in stock, we need to make decisions quickly.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to do our best to stock what we can. That's one way. So, in case you're wondering how is Lighthouse going to help with it, we are trying to shoulder some of this with you. We are trying to look at what we can do in terms of our margins as well as what we can stock, because we're right there with you. We think that this is going to be this is just the start.
yeah. And don't be afraid of refurbished computers.
That was a thing that we introduced at the tail end last year, was the
Yeah.
refurbishing company. Right now, they have been pretty solid for supply. I think their prices will come up, but right now it's been negligible. Again, we've been working with. What I love with our refurbisher is that they are 3-year warranties, and their repair process, the warranty is, they work with us to make sure that we constantly have stock here at limited cost to us. So effectively operating as a pseudo like a micro warehouse for them.
Yeah,
And so what happens is, let's say that you have a computer that dies that was purchased through this refurbisher. We can just grab a computer off the shelf, tell them that we did that, and then they will handle doing the refurbishing. It's not, let's fix this one piece. It's swap the whole computer, and then we'll deal with fixing the other one, and then we'll send it back to you.
yeah,
So we give you a new machine, well, quote, a new refurbished. They fix that computer that was broke, send it back to us for inventory, and life is good again.
yeah.
I think that's going to be very useful for companies, because right now we're seeing that is half the cost right now. And I think that margin narrows up. So, but a 3-year warranty is not bad on anything. That's one of our minimum requirements we try to do is that computers have 3 years.
Yeah.
So what could happen to you? Here's the reality. You're going to have to pay more, or you're going to have to wait. The other thing that could happen is, we talked about standardization. we like to standardize that an average computer is 16 gigs of RAM. We may have to temporarily sell 8 gig units to suffice the standard.
Yeah.
So we our server installs are a base install of 64 gigs. We may actually have to literally go and say, do you really need that much? Because at one point in time, it was half the cost of what it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And 64 gigs was easy to hit, even if you didn't need it.
Yeah. It's a nice to have. Makes things run smoothly. Makes you be able to grow into it.
There's a lot, especially for our VM. Like we would use them in servers for VM hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need to add this piece of equipment. Yeah, of course. You got plenty of space on here.
Yeah, but now we have to really kind of make sure you need it.
Well, do you really need that? Or 32 gigs or 24?
Yeah.
Another thing I think you're going to see is I think you're going to see cloud prices increase. Because we are going to be so hard to find these resources, a lot of people were, because hardware was just getting down to a cheap price again.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was going, we all went to the cloud. Then we went, man, the cloud's expensive. So then we went to the on-premise. We called it the private cloud.
It's been kind of like racquetballing back and forth.
People are going to go hybrid again. You're going to see, but what is that going to do for us? That's going to drive costs back up because cloud demand's going to go up again.
Yep.
And this could affect the warranty market, though we'll have to see.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So you may have issues that if a hard drive dies, you may not be able to get replacement parts for it.
Mm-hmm.
So what can we do right now? If you're sitting there going, boy, this sounds deep. Look, we're going to get through this, but let's take a look at some things. And here's also, I'm going to say that these are already things that Lighthouse has already started to work for you on. But start looking at your inventory ahead of time. The sooner that you can achieve purchasing a computer, I think it's going to be better.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're in the beginning of this price gouging.
Yeah.
Not at the end. And we don't know when that end's going to be. So right now, not financial planners, not investors. We're just a couple of guys that have gone through a lot of tech cycles, right? I think we are, depending on the component, you are looking at 6 to 18 months on some of these products.
Mm-hmm. RAM, yeah, it's probably closer to the end of that for sure. But GPUs, SSDs, those could change drastically within 6 months for sure.
I think solid states. I think you'll start to see costs ease up within the next 6 to 12. I think they're going to rise for at least 6 months, potentially 12. Then they're going to start to normalize.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a constant increase. So there you go. If your issue right now is you don't have enough storage, if you don't do it now, expect prices to rise at least for 6 months.
Yeah.
But be prepared for 12.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can make it for the next year without needing storage, go for it.
Yeah. But again, we mentioned at the top, the idea behind us wanting you to have upgraded machines is because there's better efficiency with your labor. There's less issues coming to us, and you guys are, on hold, having to wait for, fixes to come into play. If it makes sense to just buy a new computer, even at that higher markup,
you may be stuck in the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why we're saying potentially makes more sense to purchase now.
GPUs, I think GPUs are going to be highly dependent on the AI market.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've just been out of control.
Yeah, admittedly, the standard pricing of GPUs hasn't really existed in a while.
So to be perfectly honest with you there, I would say when you hear people talk about the GPU market and AI, yes, that has an impact. Yes, that's creating some costs that are driving up. I think that continues, but I don't think that the impact is any different than crypto mining. I think we are. Yeah. I think that ship is 12 to 18 months. We're riding that wave.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably, you're going to pay what you're going to pay. I don't see those rising too much in price.
Yeah. And the difference really, though, is that GPUs aren't in every computer. They're not in your phone. They're not in, there's not a dedicated NVIDIA, chip in a Mac
we're
nowadays.
talking discrete GPUs. We're not talking system.
But RAM is in all of this.
Yeah.
RAM is crucial.
Everything. RAM is crucial. Who's the one with the volatile jokes?
There you go. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot longer for RAM, unfortunately.
I think RAM is a big one.
Yeah.
I think RAM, we're fighting this for, I think this is at least 18 months.
Yeah.
And we all read how many data centers are wanted to be built.
Yeah, and that's not going to exactly help the situation. So
I think this AI boom is going to, is probably a 3-year cycle. I don't know why I feel that way. I just feel like in the next couple years, we're going to see some companies fail.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, do you really want to see that? Yes, no. But we do need, kind of like in the .com bubble. You're probably too young to remember some of this, but things like how Instacart existed and all of that. Did you know that there were delivery services?
Oh yeah,
in the early 2000s during the .com bubble.
But everything just. Yeah,
we didn't know how to do it.
That's where we're at now, though. We're for AI, so
now we know how to do it, and that's why things like Uber and everything, like there's a maturity in the marketplace and stuff. AI is kind of that similar to that .com bubble of we need to use AI. How do we leverage it? Everybody's going to try to figure out how they can monopolize it or monetize it.
There'll be a few that make it through, but
only a handful are going to survive.
Yeah.
And that's what we just need to do is we need to figure out who has the best ideas and then have the ones that fail
who's executed on them well. Yeah.
But right now, if you say I have an AI company, they're raising millions.
Yeah.
Billions even.
Oh yeah.
So if you can take a look at it, plan sooner. Another thing that you can do to soften that blow, if you know that you have to make a significant investment, but it might be closer to those bid times, look at doing an OpEx model, leasing. Yes, leasing is kind of one of those words not everybody loves to say, but what you could do is get your equipment. Now you're financing that off of an OpEx model instead of a big capital expenditure. You are going to pay some interest, some rental fees off of that. And then at the end of it, you can turn it in and potentially see your costs go down. But if you have to make a significant investment, leasing may not be a bad idea here just to keep it so that you have cash flow.
Yeah.
Because, right, like if we're talking a 30% increase in capital or in capital expenses, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge on some of these. And if it's a project you know that you need to get done, this could be the big thing. So I encourage you, if you have a big project, you know you need to do it, these leasing companies, I think, are going to be invaluable for anybody in that situation. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to kick off. Anything you could think of in this market?
You could technically prioritize automation in some manner to make it so you don't need as much hardware necessarily. It's kind of hard to do in every situation, but here's some that work.
Here's what you could do. Let's work together to leverage AI to improve your business processes.
Technically.
So that you can save money because AI is stealing our resources.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, but it's totally what we're doing here at Lighthouse.
I'm not going to heat my home with, coal. I'm going to pay the power company to give me the electricity for much cheaper because they're doing it in bulk.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I think that's going to do it. Welcome back, Griff.
Yeah.
I think this will be much more entertaining. I'm looking forward to this season of the podcast, being able to just drill down on topics that are on our mind. It's going to be way more fun, I think. And so the only bummer for me is that not always will Griffin be sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I am excited that I think this is going to be cool. I'm excited. We've already planned out some of the topics and things we're going to talk about, and then don't think that we're not going to cover security news. We know. I mean, hell, Fortinet's already out there making waves. Why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, there'll be some impromptu cybersecurity episodes, I'm sure.
So I do feel like we will have some time, but we've got in our back pocket that I am sure we will do some cybersecurity episodes, like you said. Except what I want to do is I don't want to do them in the moment. You all have news, you all have TVs, you all have the interwebs, and we couldn't podcast fast enough to get to make that breaking news.
Oh, yeah.
We were always kind of. Our goal now is when there's big cybersecurity things, yes, you're going to hear about them, whether it's through the hub or our newsletters or through however else you get your news. But I want to do articles. I want to do coverage after the fact. Let's deep dive and let's do it all in one episode versus how we were doing. Like we would do a little bit every. What if we took all of those moments, we made one? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's way more fun.
Yeah, because then we actually know all the information. We don't have to.
We know all the information.
Speculate
we can talk about it, and yeah, it'll be good. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. Get ready for some more details, like I said, because we're going to need your help in our Ask Lighthouse. I just realized that we talked about it. We were going to have a page that you could submit questions on. Maybe there's a page that exists there. I apologize.
Haven't made that yet.
We haven't made it yet. We're January is over, and that's our break. And we planned our podcast schedule.
First week of February,
and we realized, it's February.
Yeah, I'll probably have a Ask Lighthouse section somewhere. LighthouseSWL.com/ask maybe.
I like it. There you go.
Works for me.
Let's see how this works, because by the time this hits, so LighthouseSWL.com/ask, and you'll get to go to the Ask Lighthouse. Basically, what it does is it'll give you the opportunity to tell us who you are if you want, and it'll just be like, "What's your question?" But my hope is while we do have some topical. Some topics already queued up that we plan on doing for conversations. You may have something that comes in and maybe 5 or 10 other people say, so, hey, we should probably focus on that. The other thing is that maybe your question is 5 or 10 minutes to have a good time. We can combine several questions and really talk about it. It's an opportunity for us to just share our knowledge, our perspective with everybody out there, whether you want it or not, I suppose. But I guess if you're going to LighthouseSWL.com/ask, you want our knowledge.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to know, whether that's computers, internet, technology,
movies,
Nicolas Cage,
anything
whatever
you
need, we're here for you. All right. Some things never change. I don't know how to end this thing. So here you go. Have a great one. Seriously, excited for you. We'll catch you next time on the next Lighthouse IT Solutions podcast. See ya.
See you.